So, what if I told you that you could actually change your brain's physical structure and its chemistry just by sitting still? It sounds kind of wild, right? But this ancient practice is meeting modern neuroscience. And wow, the results are completely rewriting what we thought we knew about the mind body connection. So, let's dive in and explore the real science behind this incredible link between mind and matter. I mean, for literally thousands of years, people have practiced meditation, for spiritual and emotional balance. We've all seen this image, right? It's that picture of perfect calm and focus. But have you ever wondered what's really going on inside the body and the brain during those moments of stillness? Yeah, because what used to be seen as purely spiritual is now under the microscope. It's a subject of some seriously intense scientific study. And what we're finding is that this, 3,000-year-old tradition holds these powerful keys to influencing our own biology. That makes it an absolutely compelling tool for modern health.
Okay, so here's what we're going to cover. We'll trace the journey of meditation from ancient texts all the way to modern labs. We're going to ask, what even is meditation, scientifically speaking? How can it physically rewire our brains? And maybe most importantly, what does all this mean for our health?
All right, first up, to really get a handle on its power, we've got to look at its history. Because, this isn't some new age trend. It's a practice with incredibly deep roots that, honestly, science is only now starting to fully appreciate.
I mean, think about this. The first written references we have go all the way back to around 1500 BC in the Hindu scriptures. From there, it grew and was cultivated in traditions like Buddhism and Taoism. But what's really striking is how recently science got interested. It wasn't until the 1960s that the research just exploded. And that's what's led to it being used today as a complementary treatment for, well, everything from stress to depression.
Okay, so if scientists are gonna study meditation, they first have to agree on what it actually is, right? They need a clear functional definition so they know what they're measuring.
And here's the thing you've got to understand. Meditation isn't just one thing. It's really a family of practices. A better way to think about it is like a set of mental skills you can train. And they're all designed to help you regulate your attention and emotions so you can voluntarily change your mental state.
So for research, these practices usually get grouped into two main types. On one hand, you've got concentration. This is all about narrowing your focus, kind of like a spotlight, to get better at ignoring distractions. And on the other hand, there's mindfulness. This one is about broadening your attention to whatever's happening in the present moment, on purpose and without judgment. And as you might guess, these two very different approaches have different effects on the brain.
Okay, now we get to the really fascinating part. How can these mental exercises create actual physical changes in your brain? This is it. This is where that ancient practice meets hard science. So, at its core, the mechanism is surprisingly simple. Meditation basically works by pushing back directly against the body's main stress response system. You know the one. It's the system that floods you with hormones whenever you think you're in danger. This system, it's called the HPA axis. So when you get stressed, your hypothalamus sends a signal to your pituitary gland. That in turn signals your adrenal glands, and bam, they release cortisol, the main stress hormone. What meditation does is it helps to regulate and quiet down that whole cascade.
But, it goes even deeper than just managing a chemical reaction. The repeated practice of meditation can physically change the brain structure. This incredible ability the brain has to reorganize itself, that's called neuroplasticity.
And we can measure this. The evidence is there. For example, studies show that people who have meditated for a long time can have more brain matter, thicker cortex actually, in areas related to attention. They show greater activity in the parts of the brain linked to positive emotions and an increase in the kind of brain waves we see when we're relaxed.
Right, so these changes in the brain, they don't just happen in a bubble. They create these ripple effects that touch the entire body. We're talking about influencing everything from the chemistry that controls our mood to our actual immune defenses. Because, what happens in the brain doesn't stay in the brain. That mental state you get into during meditation, it triggers this powerful cascade of neurochemicals that has a huge influence on how we feel and how our bodies function. And the scale of this change is just remarkable. Get this, studies using PET scans have shown that meditation can ramp up dopamine production by as much as 65%.
And remember, dopamine is that key neurochemical that makes us feel pleasure, reward, motivation. A 65% boost, that is a huge shift toward a state of genuine well-being. And it doesn't even stop there. Meditators also show an increase of nearly 30% in their GABA levels. Now, GABA is basically the brain's main calming neurotransmitter. Think of it like the brake pedal for a mind that's racing. It works by quieting down all that neural chatter, and what we feel is a deep sense of calm and way less anxiety. So when you put it all together, what you get is this powerful anti-anxiety or, anxiolytic chemical cocktail happening inside you. You're getting more serotonin for mood and sleep, more melatonin for calm, more beta endorphins for that feeling of relaxation, and all of this is happening while you're actively decreasing that stress hormone cortisol. This incredibly deep mind-body connection, it goes all the way to our physical defenses. Science is making it crystal clear that our mental state has a direct and measurable impact on our immune system. And the data here is pretty striking. I mean, in one study, HIV-positive patients who practice meditation were actually able to prevent the decline of their crucial CD4+ immune cells. Those are the very cells that the virus attacks. So the implication here is that by reducing stress through meditation, they might have been able to slow the disease's progression and basically strengthen their own immune response. So what does all this evidence actually mean in practice? Well, when you put it all together, meditation really starts to look like a powerful, self-directed tool for promoting your own health and well-being. So here's the bottom line. The research points to a really clear set of benefits. We're talking improved attention and concentration, increased feelings of calm and relaxation, better regulation of your mood and emotions, and even a strengthened immune function. It's not just a treatment for when things go wrong, it's actually a powerful model for preventative medicine. Now, it's really important to remember something, though. This is a complementary tool. It is absolutely not a replacement for professional medical or psychotherapeutic treatment. It works best when it's part of a bigger, more holistic approach to your health. And all this leaves us with a pretty provocative final thought. We've just seen how a purely mental practice can create real, physical changes in our brain structure, alter our neurochemistry, and even strengthen our immune system. So if that's possible, what does that say about the untapped potential of the human mind? What else are we capable of?